See, Tommy D, like, this is what he did. You know, he's a great, you know, he like me. He's been around a long time, so, I mean, we don't mind if the second engineer overdubs or whatever sit at the board. Tommy would go out, you know, say, look, dude, I'm going to set the mic up. Here it is. But as far as mixing and all that, Tommy, the Makaveli sound is because of Tommy D and Kurt Cobain. And then here's the sad tragedy. Kurt didn't get no, his name ain't, I mean, that's Kurt Cobain's sound. He's the only one that can duplicate that sound right now. If you tell somebody duplicate the Makaveli sound, they ain't going to be able to do it. The only one that'll be able to do it right on the spot is Kurt Cobain.
This is a Jmix exclusive.
You were talking earlier about the Makaveli album. Why was the Makaveli album done with newer producers and sometimes not always in Studio A at Can-Am?
Oh, what happened was we had formed a writing team. The writing team, they've been up there at least a year or more. Hadn't dropped anything. So this is the famous story where it was like a joke. Suge called him up one day and told him to get in front of everybody, and he was making a joke. Said, man, y'all ain't wrote no hit records. You've been up here for like a few years. Salaries, you know, Oakwood and stuff, cars. No hits. Y'all don't write no hits, I'm going to do the hits. You know, and Suge started laughing. Then they got all day, but they weren't laughing. So they all got in there and found out 2Pac wanted to do like a black album, a completely different album from which he had sat down with me and said that he wanted an R&B sounding hip-hop album. That's what All Eyes was. And then on the Makaveli album, he decided to go with the in-house writers, and a lot of it is because, once again, of Kurt Cobain, because all those guys really had was, they kind of had an idea of, like, the beat's supposed to go like this, but Cobain was the one shaped it into a song, you know, did the verses, the intros, all that stuff. The sounds.
Why was Johnny J not on that album, production-wise, do you know?
I don't know why he didn't go with Johnny J on Makaveli, to be honest. I think he liked what he heard from Kurt Cobain and them. And then he probably didn't want it, and then he probably didn't want anything similar, you know, like All Eyes on Me.
At Can-Am, were there certain rules to working and recording there when it comes to masters and DATs?
Oh, yeah, that's all my fault.
Is it?
Yeah. Well, what happened was we had worked on the Dog Pound, and then Suge one day called me into his office, and he say, Rick, you the oldest one up here, you know, we glad to have you, you know, you work for Motown, all these companies. He say, let me ask you something. He say, how were they able to, before the Dog Pound come out, sell 15,000 copies at the Compton Swap Meet? And I said, oh, that's easy, because somebody had a copy of it and went and bootlegged it. He said, so what would you do at Motown? And I said, oh, they didn't get no copies. Why I say that? Next thing you know, everybody was getting searched going in and going out. They were searching you going out because they were looking for copies.
Were there any exceptions to that? Were certain individuals allowed to take copies of their material, or was it across the board?
That they had to work personally how it was should, so I wouldn't know about that. So I'm just like,
did you realize at the time the impact those albums would have on rap music in the 90s, and the legacy that it would carry?
oh yeah, oh yeah. Kevin Lewis, nobody talks about that guy either. And then here's the other thing people don't realize. It's real also, except for Dre and Quick, it's really hard to say who mixed what, because every step of the way, Kevin and I had them recall everything. Recall means that, say when I recorded Ambitions as a writer, okay, I had a certain, like, rough mix going. They notated it so the next time we pulled it up, it would be recalled to that same point. I mean, we take down all the settings, all the gear, and then we set it back up so when you come in the room, it sounds exactly like you left it. And then as you're going along, you're like, kind of mixing it, and then it will store it again. And then 9 times out of 10, everything, the last hand that it might have go through would be Kevin Lewis. And he was a studio manager.
Where were you when you heard that Tupac passed?
Where was I? When I did what?
When you heard that Tupac had been shot.
I was living in North Hollywood. I was maybe 20 minutes from Canada.
It has been said following the shooting that people at death row already know who did it. I don't know about all that. There's all these concepts, and all he said was the car he seen wasn't a no white Cadillac. Or the car they claim, they say it was one of those white narco-looking cars. Like a police officer would use?
Yeah, that blocked them off, and they said these dudes just came out the shadows. Say whatever they had, he said he still don't know what kind of weapons they had. He said it's like rat tat 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 tat.
So they didn't think it was a gang-related shooting?
That's what it. We're not sure at this point. There's all kinds of stories. You don't want to hear my concepts. I think the government did it. They the ones, the media pushed this East Coast, West Coast thing because, once again, why? They were making money. So they figured if we start this, then the people on the East can't tour the West. People on the West can't tour the East. Maybe we can crush this whole hip-hop thing, which they basically done except for Europe. But Suge was trying to hook up with, like before his demise with Puff and everybody.
I've also heard rumors that Tupac, after Dre left, sat down and talked to Dr. Dre and was still cool with Dre. Is that true?
Yeah. All I know is when we were there, it was very musical. Matter of fact, I had so much time, a great time with the music, that all that other stuff I never paid attention to. We were a great American music company, and I hated to see it demise like that. If it was one of, like, Death Row was unique because once we would lay something, then we would bring in real musicians. So, you know, every day you got to record a drummer, guitar players, bass player, organs, you know, whatever we needed. We had a unlimited budget with the rental company, so we could rent organs, anything we wanted. And that's what made the All Eyes on Me unique.
It just went diamond, I heard.
It should have been diamond by now. I thought it was diamond all the time.
I believe it was Lance that told me that he might have been a little wrong on that. But I do know about your work on Peaches and Herb, though. I want to tell you, though, that I'm a fan, even though that doesn't fit the 2pac's, though.
Well, the Peaches and Herb was unique because I got to work with the great Freddie Perrin. And Freddie Perrin was one of the producers that this guy produced all the early Jackson 5 stuff. He wrote it and produced it with the corporation. Then he did the Miracles. So I got one Grammy. We got a Grammy for I Will Survive in 1980. It was the best recorded and mixed dance record of 1980. So then the same guy did Reunited and all that stuff. So, and all that stuff basically prepared me to work with Death Row. Because don't forget, we had a hip-hop and an R&B camp.
Oh, absolutely. Dave, Aaron Hall, Casey and JoJo, I've heard the comment that it was moving to be the next Motown, that Suge Knight was trying to bring in more R&B acts. Is that true?
Oh yeah. We were supposed to. Mary J was coming aboard. Casey and JoJo. Hammer. You know, we had. In other words, we had enough where they didn't even need nobody but themselves to tour with. So the reason I didn't work on Makaveli is Danny Boy got to screaming that he needed me to work on this project. Because I do R&B really good. Oh, man, one day we cut, Danny Boy did Lionel Richie's Lady. We cut a 60-piece orchestra with Danny Boy singing. We used 3 24 tracks. Never got released.
Are you surprised we'd never seen an official Danny Boy release while Death Row Records was still actually Death Row Records?
Yeah, it's sad. Once again, when 2Pac came in, it like pushed everything back. So not only Danny Boy didn't come out, Rage came out late. O.f.t.b, all that stuff just got pushed back. O.f.t.b had an incredible sounding record.
Do you know whatever became of it?
It's floating around. Unfortunately, the new Death Row got in there. And they tried to put it out, but they ran into problems, so they didn't get it mastered. I think they were only allowed to get, like, rough mixes. And so that guy, John Payne, like, he's running around telling everybody, oh, yeah, I did it. He never worked on 2Pac, any of that stuff. Well, the lady called me up, and so she's going, yeah, well, you know, John Payne said there's nothing but hit records in the vault. And I'm like, dude, that ain't true. Who told you that? I said, what you're going to get is somebody may have had a drum machine idea, and that's as far as it got, then they wouldn't put the tape up.
So a lot of these songs that were being released were just rough mixes with no mastering.
Yeah, exactly. And they never intended them for being released. Somebody need to clarify it. It's what we want people to realize is that 2Pac was a great artist. And he was no different from some of those Hollywood stars, Sean Penn and all of them. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. I think people forget he was a human being.
The one thing that'll always stand out was the MTV interview. I never forget it. Old man was sitting on the other side crying. But MTV came down there. It was that lady. And then she put everybody out. So then they immediately tried to put everybody out the room. They put the outlaws out. The only ones held their ground was me and Papa G, the publicist. We're like, we ain't going nowhere. I'm like, dude, I'm the chief engineer here. I said, legally, I got to be in the room. So then they gave 2Pac this. They made me sit on the other side of the console where I couldn't be seen. In the interview, Pac starts talking about what happened to black people. He took them all the way through history and why that black kids that got to a point where they wanted to be thugs. By the time MTV edited the interview and everything, all you heard 2Pac saying was, yeah, I'm a thug. That's why I'm a thug. They didn't give you what he led up to.
So most of the content of that interview was edited out.
Yeah, edited out to make it look like he was just a little gangster punk or something. But the man always talked about other people first instead of himself. Black people had needs. That's what he was about.
Yeah.